کو جاتے ہوئے سر جھکائے ہوئے شے نے رو کر کہا الوداع 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 الوداع. آیا وقت سفر اے بہن ناچ ہم ہو رہے ہیں جدا الوداع 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 الوداع. شاہ بڑھ کر بہن کے گلے لگ گئے اور ہی تو کیا بہن سے یہ کہنے لگے سے یہ کہنے لگے میری مظلوم پیاسی مسافر بہن میری مظلوم پیاسی مسافر بہن تیرا حافظ خدا الوداع 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 الوداع. جس دھرتی تھی تم وہ گری آ گئی دیکھو چاروں طرف تیرگی جا گئی تیرگی جا گئی. دشت پر حال میں شام ہونے کو ہے دشت پر حال میں شام ہونے کو ہے لو مسافر چلا الوداع 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 الوداع. لے کے بالی سکینہ کو آغوش میں ننھے ننھے سے ہاتھ کے بوسے لے لیے سے لے لیے. شین حسرت سے بیٹی کو تکتے ہوئے شین حسرت سے بیٹی کو تکتے ہوئے آہ بڑھ کر کہا الوداع 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 الوداع. صلوات.
پر محمد والے محمد صلوات. مظلوم میں کربلا کی عزادار آ گئی مظلوم میں کربلا کی عزادار آ گئی. زینب برے نصر جو زینب برے نصر جو بازار آ گئی مظلوم میں کربلا کی عزادار آ گئی. تلوار کے بغیر لڑوں گی میں ایسی جنگ خطبے پڑھوں گی ایسے کہ دشمن بھی ہوں گے دنگ. دیکھو حسین تم بھی ہمارے جہاد کو زینب ہے آج بن کے زینب ہے آج بن کے علمدار آ گئی. مظلوم میں کربلا کی عزادار آ گئی. زینب نے زندگی میں نہ دیکھی کوئی خوشی، روتی ہوئی وہ شام کی راہوں میں مر گئی. تنہا لحد میں بھائی کو رونے کے واسطے سرکار پنجتن کی، سرکار پنجتن کی وہ غم خوار آ گئی. مظلوم میں کربلا کی عزادار آ گئی. جس کے حیا سے شمس نے خود کو چھپا لیا، جس نے حیا سے شمس نے خود کو چھپا لیا، امت شکین قیدی اسی کو بنا لیا. چادر لوٹا کے قافلہ، چادر لوٹا کے قافلہ سالار آ گئی. مظلوم میں کربلا کی عزادار آ گئی. زینب نے زندگی میں نہ دیکھی کوئی خوشی، روتی ہوئی وہ شام کی راہوں میں مر گئی. تنہا لحد میں بھائی کو رونے کے واسطے سرکار پنجتن کی، سرکار پنجتن کی وہ غم خوار آ گئی. مظلوم میں کربلا کی عزادار آ گئی. صلوات.
اللہم صل علی محمد
صلوات پر محمد.
اللہم صل علی محمد و آل محمد.
اس طرح تے منزل صبر و رضا زینب نے کی. اس طرح تے منزل صبر و رضا زینب نے کی. امت جد کے لیے حق سے دبا زینب نے کی. امت جد کے لیے حق سے دبا زینب نے کی. کربلا کے واقعے میں رنگ دونوں نے بھرا، ابتدا شبیر نے اور انتہا زینب نے کی، اس طرح تے منزلیں صلوات فاتحہ۔ اللہم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔ سجاد جب دوبارہ اسیر جفا ہوئے، سجاد جب دوبارہ اسیر جفا، زنجیر و توق میں پھر مبتلا، اور روح رسول پاک کو صدمے سے درد و علم بطول کو لا انتہا، پھر گل تھا کہ پھر مدینے کی بستی اجڑتی ہے، گردن میں توق پاؤں میں زنجیر پڑتی، گردن میں توق پاؤں میں زنجیر پڑتی ہے، ارے روئے پھوپھی کو دیکھے عابد بحال زار، اتنے میں حکم پا کے چلی فوج نابکار، آگے تو قید جاتے تھے سجاد نامدار، تھا ان کے پیچھے ناقہ زینب جگر فگار، تھا ان کے پیچھے ناقہ زینب جگر فگار، اٹھا تھا دل میں درد، تیرے قدم تھر تھراتے تھے، ارے محمل کو دیکھ دیکھ کے آنسو بہاتے تھے، محمل کو دیکھ دیکھ کے آنسو بہاتے تھے، الق سجز گھڑی کے نمایاں ہوئی سحر، لشکر ہوا یزید کا آمادہ سفر، اٹھی وضو کو خواہر سلطان بحر بر، فضان جائے نماز بچھائی بچشم تر، فضان جان نماز بچھائی بچشم تر، ایک دل ملول حد سے سوا ہوتی جاتی تھی، زینب نماز پڑھتی تھی اور روتی جاتی تھی، زینب نماز پڑھتی تھی اور روتی جاتی تھی، فارغ ہوئی دعا سے جو زینب چشم تر، فضا کو تب بلا کے یہ بولی وہ نوح، یہاں سے بہت قریب ہے سنتی ہوں وہ شجر، خلی نے جس درخت میں باندھا تھا شے کا سر، خلی نے جس درخت میں باندھا تھا شے کا سر، لے چل وہاں پہ فاطمہ زہرا کی جائی کو، روں گی اس درخت کے نیچے میں بھائی، روں گی اس درخت کے نیچے میں بھائی، اور روئی بیان کر کے جو زینب بحال زار، مابین دشت ہائے حسین کی تھی پکار، ایک باغ تھا وہاں کے ہر ایک گل تھا جس کا نار، تھا متہم وہاں کا تمیم ستم شعار کا، تھا متہم وہاں کا تمیم ستم شعار، ظلمت آیا تھی کفر کی اس بدخصال سے، اور رکھتا تھا بغض دل میں محمد کی آل، رکھتا تھا بغض دل میں محمد کی آل، پوچھا یہ اس نے آ کے قریب سے پاشر، عورت یہ کون سی ہے جو روتی ہے اس قدر، بولا کوئی شکی کہ تجھے کیا نہیں خبر، زینب یہی ہے عاشق سلطان بحر و بر، زینب یہی ہے عاشق سلطان بحر و بر، مدت سے سوگوار شہ تشنا کام ہے، ارے یہ خواہر حسین علیہ السلام، یہ خواہر حسین علیہ السلام ہے، سننا تھا یہ کہ غیظ میں آیا وہ بد زبان، پہنچا قریب دختر خاتون سجان، تھا آہنی جو ہاتھ میں ایک بیل چاگراں، مارا شکی نے فرق پر زینب کے ناگہاں، مارا شکی نے فرق پہ زینب کے ناگہاں، غش آ گیا زمین پہ تھرا کے گر پڑی، سر پر لگی وہ ضرب کے تیورا کے گر پڑی، ہر سر پر لگی وہ ضرب کے تیورا کے گر پڑی، اے سرگروہ آل ابا ہوا مصیبتا، ہر سر پر اڑاؤ خاک عذاب و مصیبت، تازہ ستم یہ اور ہوا व मुसीब। ज़ैनब ने की जहाँ से क़ज़ा व मुसीब। ज़ैनब ने की जहाँ से क़ज़ा व मुसीब। सामाने गुस्ल ज़ैनब दिलगीर कीजिए, अरे जल्दी फूफी के दफन की तदबीर कीजिए, जल्दी फूफी के दफन की तदबीर कीजिए। अरे सज्जाद जब दोबारा सी रे जफा हुए।
One quick announcement. Tomorrow, Tuesday, November 14, is a house majlis scheduled at the residence of Dr. Ali Akbar in Oakbrook. This majlis is going to be addressed by Maulana Muntazir Mehdi. All Mu'mineen are requested to attend. Tonight is the Shab-e Shahadat of Hazrat Zainab Salamullah alayh. Shab-e Tabut Hazrat Zainab will be taken out after the Urdu majlis in the ladies section. And also tonight majlis will conclude this Arba'een series with our guest speaker, Sayyid Bilal Rizvi from Dallas. We are sincerely thankful and greatly appreciative to his service, to our community, his hard work and patience with us. We pray that may Allah in 14 Masamin will grant him as reward for his service, and also as he is going to be in Najaf for his religious studies, we pray that may Allah give him success with all his future plan. Please recite a loud salwas for Sayyid Bilal Rizvi. With another loud salwa that requests Sayyid Bilal Rizvi to the member.
رحم الله من قرأ سورة الفاتحة. If I could request you all to move closer towards the minbar and move closer towards each other with one salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Jazakallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله، والصلاة والسلام على إمام القبلتين ونبي الحرمين وأفضل الثقلين وجد الحسن والحسين الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الصادقين والذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد، قد قال مولانا أمير المؤمنين لمالك ابن الحارث الأشتر في عهده إليه: فإنهم صنفان، ماخ لك في الدين ونذير لك في الخلق. صدق مولانا علي أمير المؤمنين. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل for the hastening of the reappearance of the master of our time, as well as for the protection of the believers. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The document under question is letter 53 or letter 54, depending on which version you have of Nahj al-Balagha, in which Amir al-Mu'mineen writes his famous letter to Malik ibn al-Harith al-Ashtar. And this letter is a letter which has profound insight and gives great depth into the realm of social interaction and social administration. A subject which is relevant in each society, because you find as human history goes on, each society has discussed that what is the role of government within the life of a human being? Is that what is the balance between a person's privacy and the services a government is supposed to offer? What is the demeanor with which a leader of society should uphold himself? And you find the Imam, he gives an insight into each of these subjects. And this reality and this letter, it carries a great weight, especially within these days where we mourn for Sayyid al-Shuhada. Why? Because you find just 50 years after the death of Rasulullah, that Rasulullah, he dedicated his life to instill certain principles in these people who are the most backwards of people. These individuals, that they would start 100-year wars because of personal grudges. They would start tribal wars. They would commit the heinous act of burying their daughters alive. But you find Rasulullah, within a very short time, he turned these people into a community which had individuals like Salman and Miqdad and Ammar and Abu Dhar. Individuals who were forefront of society, individuals who were exemplars of morality, exemplars of piety, exemplars of individuals who can bring a change within this world. But you find just after the death of Rasulullah, that moral decline is set to steep in within that time period. As in, when you look, you find that after the death of Rasulullah, that Islam was there, but the reality and the message and the essence of Islam was lost. That on the outward form, they would perform these rituals within Islam, but they had lost the meaning and the spirit of all of these acts within Islam. And nothing greater shows this than the fact that just 50 years after the death of Rasulullah, the people from amongst his ummah had gathered to kill his grandson within the plains of Karbala. And it wasn't just that they gathered to kill Imam al-Hussein. The narration of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, salamullahi alayhi, the narration of the Imam, it states that all 30,000 of them had gathered to kill Hussein in order to seek nearness towards Allah. That you find that this reality, that this is how lost they were from the true reality of Islam. And one of the reasons, and the main reason as to this, was that when it came to following the sunnah of Rasulullah, they stepped away from the path of Amirul Mu'mineen. That's why Imam al-Hussein, when he writes his will to Muhammad al-Hanafiya, he says, إِنَّمَا خَرَجْتُ لِطَلَبِ الْإِسْلَافِ أُمَّتِ جَدِّي, that I am only leaving to reform the nation of my grandfather and to prohibit that which is evil and to promote that which is good and to follow in the footsteps of my grandfather Rasulullah and my father Amir al-Mu'mineen. The question arises, Imam al-Hussein could have said that I am following in the footsteps of my grandfather Rasulullah. That would have been enough, because if you properly follow Rasulullah, then you would have had that perfect system. But why does he say, and my father Amir al-Mu'mineen? The reason he says this is to show that the proper individual to show you what the sunnah of Rasulullah was Amir al-Mu'mineen. And this is why one of the realities of those who had gathered on the other side was their hatred for the Imam. That's why they would say, فَقَالُوا بَلْ, they're saying to Imam al-Hussein, the narration it says, that they said, بَلْ نقاتلك بغضا منا لأبيك وما فعل بأشياخنا يوم بدر وحنين. That they say what? They say, we have gathered on this day because of that hatred which we have for your father, for what he did to our elders upon the day of Badr and on the day of Hunayn. You see, it was that hatred for Amir al-Mu'mineen that led to their moral decline as well, for they went away from that man who would show the proper sunnah of Rasulullah. And in order to understand whom Amir al-Mu'mineen was, what the vision of Amir al-Mu'mineen was, what the way of administration of the government of Amir al-Mu'mineen was, tonight I'll analyze that letter of the Imam to Malik al-Ashtar. And this discussion, it has many benefits. Number one, at the first level, you find many of us that we are leaders within the community, that we have positions within the workplace, that even if we don't have positions within the workplace, we are leaders within our households. No, it's more general than that. We have social interaction. Anyone who has social interaction, you find they can benefit from this letter of the Imam to Malik al-Ashtar. And the reality is this: us as human beings, we in our fitrat have been created as social beings. That have you ever reflected that insan has been called ashraful makhluk, the best of creation, because he has been given intellect. But at the same time, when this human being is born, he is so weak that he can't get food for himself, that he is so weak that if something goes wrong, the child, it begins to cry. But those animals who are seen as being less in the realms of creation, the moment their children are born, they're out in the wild, they're fending for themselves, they become independent. You find one of the hidden realities behind this is that the human being, the fact that he is born so weak shows that he needs nurturing, that he needs to be in a social system. It is that social system around him which develops him, and anyone within a social system can benefit from this letter of the Imam. But no, continuing farther than that, you find this letter of the Imam is one of the most important letters in the area of interfaith dialogue. That you look at Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen was not an individual who would divide humanity, but rather when the Imam would come upon the mimbar and he would speak about his government, he would say that if I was given a chance to rule, that if they set the cushion for me, meaning that I was given that chance, I would judge the Christians by the Bible, and I would judge the Jews by the Torah, and I would judge the Muslims by the Quran, to the extent that each group would say, oh Ali, you know our books better than we know our books. That the Imam is showing that he is not there to force his own beliefs upon others, but he is there to rectify the beliefs of other individuals and show them according to their own teachings, according to the light of Islam. Because Islam has left room for what? For social pluralism, to interact with other faiths, for communities to come together. This is why when you look at this letter of the Imam to Malik al-Ashtar, you find a number of non-Muslims, they recognize the value of this letter. That you look at an individual such as Ranjiv Gandhi. Ranjiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India. Ranjiv Gandhi would give this letter of Amir al-Mu'mineen to Malik al-Ashtar to each of those people in his administration. You know, one of his people in his cabinet, they say, oh Ranjiv, you tell us about this letter, you give us this letter, but we don't see this letter within your home. What do you do with this letter? Ranjiv Gandhi, he replies by saying that I keep this letter in my side drawer by my bed. And every morning when I wake up, I read this letter because I want to be sincere with this letter. This letter I'm not giving you just to show off. My goal is to practice upon this letter. No further than that, you look in 2002 when Kofi Annan, he writes an Arab Human Development Report. Kofi Annan, he would quote from this letter and he would say that I am surprised that there is anarchy within the Arab world when you have the example of the government of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Then he would say further than that, that this letter of Ali to Malik al-Ashtar is the greatest document of governance ever written within human history. That in 2002, an individual who was ahead of the UN, he's writing this letter of the Imam to Malik is the greatest letter of governance within human history. This is a statement which is quite strong and a statement which shows how much depth is within this letter. And tonight we'll analyze this letter. But before I come towards it, It's important to understand the context of the letter, because whenever you study a document, you have to study it within the context. You find the context is that Amir al-Mu'mineen is writing to Malik al-Ashtar. The fact that the Imam is writing such a profound letter to Malik, it shows that it is necessary for us to reflect and analyze who Malik al-Ashtar was, that what was the position of Malik. You know, the hadith of Rasulullah is there. تَكَلَّمَ النَّاسِ عَلَىٰ قَدْرِ أُقُولِهِمْ. When you speak to the people, speak at the level of their intellects. The fact that Amir al-Mu'mineen is showing so much social intricacy and he is explaining these realities to Malik, it goes to show that Malik is an individual who is capable of handling those realities. That Malik, he had the intellect to fathom these realities. That Malik was one of the close confidants of Amir al-Mu'mineen. You know, who was Malik? The fact is that Malik was the commander to the army of Amir al-Mu'mineen. That within Arab culture at that time, the commander of the army had the highest position. Why? Is because the commander, he reflected his leader. The commander, he reflected the message of the leader. The commander, he reflected the spirit of the leader. That's why when Rasulullah was alive, who was the commander of the army of Rasulullah? It was none other than Amir al-Mu'mineen. For Amir al-Mu'mineen was that one who reflected the spirit and the message of Rasulullah. That's why Rasulullah would say that I am like the sun and Ali is like the moon. That in what sense? That when you look at the sun and the moon, you find the sun is the source of light. The sun is the luminous object and the moon is the reflection of that light. In the same way, I, Rasulullah, am the source of guidance, and Ali ibn Abi Talib is my best reflection. No, there's a second level as well. That when do you take light from the moon? You only take light from the moon when the sun is not there and it's nighttime. In the same way, when Rasulullah is not there, the light of guidance, it comes from Amir al-Mu'mineen. That he was that commander of the army of Rasulullah in each battle except for the battle of Tabuk. But in the battle of Tabuk, Rasulullah, he showed the lesson that if I am going for something as simple as a battle and I'm leaving behind Ali to look over that area, how do you think I would leave this world without leaving Ali as my successor? That he said, Ya Ali, anta minni bimanzilati Haruna min Musa. That, oh Ali, you are to me as Harun was to Musa, except for there will be no prophet after me. That when you look within the Quran, all of the manazil which Musa and Harun had with each other, all of them are within Amir al-Mu'mineen and Rasulullah, except for the station of Nabuwat. And this is that reality which you find within it. So you find that Malik is an individual who was the commander of the army of Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is why Amir al-Mu'mineen in letter 38 of Nahj al-Balagha, he would say to the people that I am sending to you Malik al-Ashtar. And when Malik commands you of the truth, listen to Malik. فَإِنَّهُ سَيْفٌ مِّن سُيُوفِ اللَّهِ. For he is a sword from amongst the swords of Allah, whose edge never becomes dull and never does he miss his target. When Malik tells you to attack, attack. When he tells you to stay, stay. Because neither does he attack, nor does he advance, nor does he move anyone backwards, nor does he move anyone forwards, illa an amri, except by my command. You see, Malik, when he reaches this reality of this closeness towards Amir al-Mu'mineen, Amir al-Mu'mineen within this letter, he goes to show the reason that Malik attained this status is because of the submission of Malik towards the Imam of his time. The moment you submit towards the Imam of the time within your trials, you find your ma'rifat and your understanding of the Imam, it increases. You know, there's a hadith in al-Kafi. The hadith is of the 6th Imam, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, salamullah. The Imam would say that none understands our narrations except for the prophets and the closest angels and that believer that has been tested. The moment a believer overcomes test, you find his understanding of Ahlul Bayt, it continues to increase. That's why you find Malik time and time again, Malik would face tests from the people. That one day Malik, he is walking through the streets of Kufa. As he's walking through the streets of Kufa, a man, he throws a date seed at Malik. They say towards that man, do you know what you've just done? He says, I haven't done anything wrong. There's an individual, he was of darker complexion. His clothes weren't that nice. I threw a date seed at him because Malik was of a darker complexion. He says, do you not recognize your mistake? You just threw a date seed at the commander of the army of the Khalifa. The man, he begins to panic. He says, I will go find Malik. He's looking for Malik here and there. And tells them that Malik is within Masjid al-Kufa. When he goes within Masjid al-Kufa, he sees that Malik is reciting prayer. He waits for Malik to finish with the prayer. He comes up to him. He says, oh man, forgive me for I didn't know it was you. That he's talking about the worldly position of Malik. If only he recognized the spiritual position of Malik, he wouldn't have done the action in the first place. Malik says, oh man, I've already forgiven you. For the reason why I came to this masjid is to recite 2 units of prayer on behalf of your forgiveness. That these are the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen. That ability within them was there. But you find that piety and that God consciousness was there within them as well. This is why you look at Malik on the day of Siffin. You see, Malik was fighting upon the day of Siffin. He was going through the army. As he was going through the army, he comes outside of the tent of Muawiyah. The narrations, they state that he was so close towards the tent that if he used his sword and he extended it, he would be able to get through the tent. But the moment Malik is about to come through the tent, a man comes up to Malik. He says, oh Malik, Ali has commanded you to come back. At that point, Malik, he faces an inner struggle within himself. That in front of him is arguably the greatest enemy of Ahlul Bayt. Malik could have justified killing Muawiyah at that point, that he's the enemy of Ahlul Bayt. But you find Malik, he knew, more important than this desire of mine is the command of the Imam of my time. That's why Malik, he comes back. When others were deceived on the day of Siffin, Malik, he recognized where truth was. You know, one person, he comes up to the Imam. He says, these individuals, they put the Quran upon the spear on the day of Siffin. The Imam replies by saying, I am the Quranun Natiq. I am the speaking Quran and the one who understands the realities of the Quran. Then he says to the Imam, O Ali, that on your side is an individual like Ammar and other companions, and there are particular personalities on the other side. The Quran is here, the Quran is there. Which side should I go to? The Imam says, go and speak to Ammar bin Yasir about which side you should go to. You see, the Imam would show what the position of his companions like Malik and Ammar was. You find that he goes to Ammar. He says to Ammar, Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You find that he says to Ammar that these people are on this side and these people are on this side. You find that Ammar, he says, you see that flag and that banner on the side of Muawiyah. That banner used to be on the side of Abu Sufyan when Rasulullah was alive. And you see that flag on the side of Ali. That flag used to be with Rasulullah when Rasulullah was alive. Then Ammar says the difference between then and now is this. Over then, the battle was over the revelation of the Quran. Now the battle is over the interpretation of the Quran. That this is what had changed. And you find Malik, he recognized that the proper individual to interpret the Quran was Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is why Amir al-Mu'mineen, when Malik was poisoned, you know, Malik, he never reaches Egypt. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he sends Malik towards Egypt. Why? Muawiyah had sent Amr bin As with 6,000 troops to overtake the region of Egypt. And they needed a strong individual who could stabilize that region. On the way to Egypt, there would be many rest stops. At one of those rest stops, you find that Muawiyah, he gives poison towards Malik al-Ashtar through a particular individual. You know what Muawiyah says when he finds out that Malik was poisoned? And this line of of Muawiyah goes to show the greatness of Malik al-Ashtar. He says, now I have cut both of the arms of Ali. In the battle of Siffin, I killed Ammar bin Yasir, and now I poisoned Malik al-Ashtar. You see that Muawiyah, he calls Malik the arm of Amir al-Mu'mineen. With an Arabic terminology, when you say the arm of someone, the arm, when you look at it, it resembles doing work. It resembles productivity. That the arm is that which you accomplish tasks. In the same way, when Amir al-Mu'mineen was accomplishing his tasks, you find Malik al-Ashtar was called the arm of Amir al-Mu'mineen, for he was working within the cause. That's why Muawiyah, he says that line. And this is why when Amir al-Mu'mineen, he finds that Malik was poisoned, he feels pain and sadness within his heart. He would say, Malik, who is Malik? If Malik was a rock, he would be unparalleled. If Malik was a stone, who would be harder than Malik? The women have become barren to give birth to an individual like Malik. And then he says this one line, that if I spoke about Malik for 2 hours, I could continue. But this one line is enough to show the greatness of Malik al-Ashtar. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he says about Malik, Kana li kama kuntu li Rasulallah. That Malik was to me as I was to Rasulullah. That what was Ali to Rasulullah? That Ali was the greatest defender of Rasulullah. Malik, he is saying, he was compared to the Imam as the Imam was towards Rasulullah. And this is why the Imam, he shows his realities to Malik. That when he's sending this letter with Malik, he says to Malik, oh Malik, I am sending you towards a region where there have been governments before you, both just as well as unjust. And oh Malik, the people will watch your dealings in the way you used to watch the dealings of the rulers before you. And they will criticize you in the way that you used to criticize them. Oh Malik, know that the best collection is the collection of good deeds, oh Malik. That you find that Amir al-Mu'mineen, he's showing to Malik, oh Malik, that when you become a leader in society, oftentimes when you weren't the leader, you would point the finger and you would blame and you would blame and you would blame. Now when you are in power, don't forget the fact that people will watch you in the way you used to watch those who were before you. The Imam, he would give lesson after lesson to Malik. For example, he says to Malik, oh Malik, control your nafs, control the soul of your oh Malik, and control your passions when they increase. Restrain them. فَإِنَّ نَفْسًا أَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. For this animalistic soul, it leads one towards evil, except for the one whom Allah has mercy upon. You see, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he shows Malik that if you want to be a leader in society, before you focus on other individuals, first focus on yourself. Because that leader who is going to lead other individuals, he must be able to keep himself in check. That's why the Imam was the best practical example. That when the Imam would lead society, it wasn't for personal gains, but it was for the betterment of the society. That's why when Amir al-Mu'mineen is Khalifa, you see line after line with his detachment from the love of this world. He would say that I, Ali, have divorced this world 3 times and there is no returning back towards this world. Further than that, one day, you see that Ibn Abbas, he sees that Amir al-Mu'mineen is mending a pair of sandals. Those sandals were broken apart and the Imam, he was mending them. The Imam, he says, oh Ibn Abbas, do these sandals have any value? Ibn Abbas says they have no value. They're ripped apart. There are holes within the sandal. You patch them up so many times. The Imam, he says, oh Ibn Abbas, these sandals are worth more to me than this entire khilafat which other individuals they go after. Except for that I can establish what is right through this khilafat and prohibit what is wrong through this khilafat. You see, the only value this khilafat had towards Amir al-Mu'mineen was that the Imam, he saw it as a way to establish haqq. That's why when the Imam, he becomes the Khalifa, he comes out on that day, and the narrations, they describe it in such an interesting way. They say on the hands of the Imam was the ring of Sulaiman. He was holding the asa of Musa, wearing the shirt of Ibrahim. On his cloak was the aba of Rasulullah. He walks up towards the mimbar. He goes on top of the mimbar. When he sits down, he says, "Oh Allah, truth has finally returned back towards its position." It was on that day the companions, they would say that now we are reminded of the time period of Rasulullah. And you find Amir al-Mu'mineen, he would give a sermon towards those individuals. He would say, "Oh people, any one of you who has taken money unjustly from the Baytul Mal, I will take that money back, even to the extent that if your fathers had paid the dowry of your mothers with usurped money, I would take that money back." You know, the people, they began to think to themselves that Ali possibly can't mean this. This must be a political sermon. If justice is at such a level, how can we live within such a society? But you find the Imam, he wasn't there to deceive people through politics, but his goal as a leader was to establish justice. And he showed practically what he said through his words. That's why the first task of the Imam, when he becomes the Khalifa, all of those ministers from the previous regimes, he takes them away from their positions and he appoints those who had virtue and piety. That's why the Imam within this letter, he says, "O Malik, within your minister, never put a person who has many sins, who is a part of evil regimes before you. For you can find people like them in views and influence, but they don't share with them in sins and vices." The Imam, he shows Malik, when you put people around you, don't just make ability the only criteria. Ability is important. To have skills is important. But oh Malik, look at their character as well, oh Malik. That's why when a person becomes a follower of the Imam, not only does he need abilities and skills, this is important as well, but you find a person, he needs that connection with the Imam. That's why even in Islam, you find our dealings are divided into two. We have the ibadat and those worship which connects us with Allah. Then we have the mu'amalat, those social dealings we have with other individuals. You know, you can say in a way that a man's spiritual development, you have a horizontal form of development and a vertical form of development. The vertical form is that connection with Allah. The horizontal form is that you connect with the creations of Allah. You have mercy upon those creation and you find yourself elevating towards Allah. And this is something which the Imam, he shows to Malik time and time again in this letter. For example, he says, "O Malik, be aware of the common man of society, O Malik. For O Malik, the common man is the pillar of the religion, and he is the defender against the enemies, and he is the strength of the Muslims. Your inclination should be with the common man, and your leaning should be with the common man." That when you're a leader in society, your goal is not only to serve a top 1%, only to serve those who have wealth within them. No, your goal is to serve that common individual within society. That's why the Imam, he would also tell to Malik, he would say, "Oh Malik," what would he say? He would say, "Oh Malik, when people, they come to you with their complaints, make sure you listen to their complaints. That even if you can't solve the problems of other individuals, sometimes people, all they need is for somebody to listen to them. That when they listen, when they come towards you, Malik, listen towards them. And oh Malik, sit with humility in front of them for the sake of Allah." But you find line after line the Imam, he gives towards Malik al-Ashtar. But none line is arguably more profound than this line when he says to Malik, "O Malik, habituate your heart to mercy for your subjects. And O Malik, don't stand over them like greedy beasts who are looking to devour them. For Malik, they are of two types. فَإِنَّهُمْ صِنْفَانِ إِمَّا أَخٌ لَكَ فِي الدِّينِ أَوْ نَذِيرٌ لَكَ فِي الْخَلْقِ." O Malik, they are either your brothers in faith or they're your equals in humanity. You see, all of Islam, it revolved around these two lines. That there is one level of brotherhood with the followers of Islam. But then there is a level, even if you don't follow Islam, you find there is a level of equality in humanity. First, you establish that brotherhood within your mosque, within your lives. That's why Rasulullah, when he comes towards Medina, the first thing he does is he makes people the brothers of one another, the muhajirun to the ansar, that he would pick similar-minded people to similar-minded people. Salman to Abu Dhar, this person to that person, until he sees at one point that Amir al-Mu'mineen has tears coming down from his eyes. He says, Ya Ali, why are these tears coming down from you? Amir al-Mu'mineen says, Ya Rasulullah, you made everyone the brother of one another, but you didn't make a brother for me. Rasulullah says, Ya Ali, if any of them were like you, I would have made them your brother. Then he says, Ya Ali, Anta akhi fi dunya wal akhirah, that you're my brother within this world and in the hereafter, O Ali. So you see that Rasulullah, that he establishes that brotherhood in Medina. But at the same time, there was a level where he looked towards all of humanity. That's why when you read the Constitution of Medina, and each of you, when you go home tonight, go on Google and type the Constitution of Medina. When you look at all of the clauses within the Constitution of Medina, you find that the majority of those clauses were about the rights of the non-Muslims. For example, that the Muslim army would protect the non-Muslims within that time period. When the non-Muslims, they wouldn't be expected to join the army is one of the clauses. You find clause after clause. And there was this level of humanity which the Imam he had within his government with that Rasulullah he had established. That's why I'll look through more points of this letter and I'll come towards the conclusion. You find that there is line after line where we can benefit from this letter. For example, the Imam, he says to Malik, he says, O Malik, habituate your heart to mercy for your subjects and don't stand over them like greedy beasts looking to destroy them. For they are of two types. Either they are your brothers in faith or your equals in humanity. And O Malik, they will make mistakes and they will have slip-ups. They will act wrongfully either on purpose or out of neglect. But O Malik, when they do, forgive them in the way you would want Allah to forgive you. For Malik, you are over them and your Imam is over you and Allah is over your Imam. You see the Imam, he's showing what the chain of command it was at that point. But he's telling Malik, oh Malik, people, they may act wrongfully, they may make mistakes, but oh Malik, forgive the people. You know, sometimes we go away at that tasbih, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. When Laylatul Qadr comes around, all night we'll pray. But the moment somebody comes in front of us asking for forgiveness, we say, get out of our face. You find the Imam is showing a reality to Malik. Oh Malik, have mercy for the creation. Allah will have mercy upon you. Then he says to Malik, oh what? He says, oh Malik, do not treat the evildoer and the virtuous person the same. For this will lead the virtuous person to stop doing good and will encourage the evildoer to do what? To continue his evil. You see the Imam, he's showing towards Malik. Oh Malik, there must be a system of checks and balances. When within the community you see those who are doing good, those individuals deserve to be rewarded. But you don't treat them those the same as those who are causing problems within the community. This is what Malik, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he shows towards Malik. You find further than that. The Imam, he continues. He says to Malik what? He says, oh Malik, the worst person in front of your eyes should be the one who is the most inquisitive of the faults of the people. And the farthest from you should be the one who is the most inquisitive of the faults of the people. And oh Malik, your job as the leader is to cover the faults of your subjects in the way you would want Allah to cover your faults. You know, when you go around a janazah, I don't know if I mentioned this point here before or not. When you go around a janazah, you say, Allahumma inna la na'lamu minhu illa khair. Or if it's female, minha khair. You say, I know nothing from this person except good. The question arises, is that what if you knew the person? That what if you saw that person sin? Wouldn't you technically be lying if you made that statement? You find the same question was posed to Ayatollah al-Khui. Ayatollah al-Khui replied by saying, that khair which you are testifying to is not their deeds. You're testifying to the fact that they had the wilayah of Ali Muhammad within their hearts. The moment they have the wilayah in their hearts, you have given up the right to look into the faults of that individual. And further than that, the narration, it states what? It states that when 40 people, they go around the janazah. This series was the series of Arba'een. I thought I'd mention a few hadith with 40. The narration, it states, when 40 people, they go around the janazah and they say, Allahumma inna la na'lamu minhu illa khair, that I know nothing from this person except good. Allah will say what? He will say that look at the believers. They are covering the faults of their fellow believer. I am Sattarul Uyub. I am the cover of all faults. I have forgiven this individual. You see this hadith with 40, another hadith with 40. You find that Sayyid Mahdi Bar al-Ulum in his Risala about Irfan, he quotes that if a person for 40 days, he has sincerity within his actions, Allah will open the door of wisdom from his heart towards his tongue. That's why many of the a'mal and our du'as and supplication, they have the number 40. For example, Du'a Ahd, which is for the 12th Imam, that 40 mornings after Fajr, it's stated that if you recite it, you will be from amongst the followers of the Imam. Further than that, Du'a Tawassul or Ziyaratul Ashura, that whenever you have a problem within your life, try reciting it for 40 mornings after Fajr and see the impact of that ziyarah and that supplication. So you find there are many narrations about the subject on another night which I may mention. But you find the Imam, he gives Malik advice after advice. But whatever advice the Imam he gave to Malik, he practically showed within his government. The Imam, he would say, have mercy upon your subjects. Make yourself available to your subjects. One time an individual, he was a Jewish individual. He comes from out of town. He goes towards Kufa. He says, I have an issue. Is there anyone who can hear my complaint? One of the administrators in the government of the Imam says, why don't you go and see the Khalifa himself? He thinks to himself that I am a Jewish individual. I don't live within Kufa. I have a problem. But they are telling me I can see the Khalifa himself. He narrates that as I came up, I saw a tree. Under the tree, there was a man laying under the ground. He was upon the dust. They say that is the Khalifa. I thought to myself, that is the Khalifa of the Muslimin. Then he says this line. He says, Oh Ali, it is because of your justice that you are able to lay so comfortably at that moment. Today when you have the president of a country, he walks around with his earpiece, he walks around with the CIA or whatever group around him. Imam Ali was the leader of 50 countries of today. That the government of Amir al-Mu'mineen, if you compare it geographically, it was approximately 50 countries of today. But that leader, he laid upon the ground without any individual around him. That's why those who killed that individual who killed the Imam was called the most wretched of individuals. Rasulullah has a hadith that the worst of the killer of the latter, the worst of the killers of the ancient, is the killer of the she-camel of Saleh. And the worst of the killers of the latter is the killer of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now you see this Imam, he gave justice after justice. But despite the fact that this individual, he struck the Imam after this. The Imam, what else would he say to Malik? He would say, Oh Malik, when you have your tasks for a day, finish those tasks before the next day. That, oh Malik, don't move on to the next day before finishing those tasks for the day. The Imams, they say how to divide your time. That when you divide your time, divide it into 4 categories. The first is what? For the ibadat of Allah. The second is for your family. The third is for yourself. And the fourth is for what? Relaxation. That these 4 categories, for your family, for your relaxation, education, for your ibadat and for your work and education, these four that you divide. The Imam is showing Malik organization, and you find the Imam, he continues and he continues, but I see my time is running out. But indeed, one of the most memorable moments in the relationship between the Imam and Malik al-Ashtar was upon the day of Siffin, when the Imam and the Malik, they would be fighting side by side. They would go through the army upon the day of Siffin and they would speak to each other. A point comes where Malik, he looks at the Imam, smiling upon his face. He says, "Oh my master, you've killed the same number of individuals as I have killed." The Imam says, "Oh Malik, how do you know this?" Malik, he says, "Every time you kill someone, you say Allahu Akbar." The Imam, he says, "Malik, this is correct, but there is a difference between whom I kill and whom you kill. Malik, you kill anyone who comes in front of you, but when I kill an individual, I look 70 generations down their lineage, and if there is somebody who is worthy of being guided within that lineage, I don't kill that individual." That's why the narrations, they state some of the individuals which the Imam had freed upon Nahrawan. There were two brothers that upon the day of Ashura, when Imam al-Hussein was in his final moments, they had this realization that what are we doing when the grandson of Rasulullah, he lays upon the plains, and they came and they sacrificed themselves for the side of the Imam. That these two brothers are two brothers whom the Imam, he freed at Nahrawan. But look at the vision of the Imam, that he saw that there was a speck of guidance within them, and that speck of guidance, it was fulfilled by Sayyid al-Shuhada on the day of Ashura. You see, tonight, I know when you gather in these majalis, you gather to listen to the musib of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. I know many of you, you carry pain in your hearts, but you don't show it towards anyone else. You have sadness. You have things which are affecting you. But when you come to the musib of Ahlul Bayt, you let all of that pain and tears out. And this is the haqq of the Imam. That's why the 8th Imam would say to Yabna Shabib, he would say, "Yabna Shabib, in kunta baqiyan ala shayyin fabkil al-Husayna." He would say, "Oh Yabna Shabib, if you ever want to cry over anything, whatever it may be, cry over my grandfather Hussein." And you know, Ayatollah Wahid Khurasani, he would say something strange when he would add on to this line. He says, when the Imam says shay, this thing, it includes Adam, it includes Rasulullah as well. That whatever pain you have, you cry over Hussein. But without a doubt, one of the greatest Masa'ib of Karbala was the musibah of Sayeda Zeinab. That which Zeinab was this? This is that Zeinab who was Ummul Masa'ib, the mother of musibah. You know, if you just reflect upon this one line of Zeinab being Ummul Masa'ib, this one title is enough for you to cry. You know, there was a scholar by the name of Ayatollah Shirazi, Mirza-e Buzurg as they would call him. In front of Mirza-e Buzurg, there was a majlis going on, that in his house every morning after Fajr, he would have a majlis. You know, the reciter was on the mimbar. He says one line. He said, "Dakhalat Zeinab ila ibn Ziyad." He said, Zainab has entered the court of Ibn Ziyad. Ayatollah Shirazi, he begins to cry. He says, "Repeat the line. The haqq hasn't been given towards this line." The reciter, he says, "Dakhalat Zainab ila ibn Ziyad." That Zainab has entered the court of Ibn Ziyad. The narration, it states that Ayatollah Mirza Buzurg, he cried from Fajr until the time of Dhuhr, and he would kept saying that the daughter of Ali has gone into a court of a drunkard. You know, when Sayyida Zeinab, when she gave her sermon within Kufa, there was a companion of Amir al-Mu'mineen by the name of Abdullah al-Afif. Abdullah al-Afif, he had become blind at that time. One of his eyes was stabbed in Jamal. The other eye was stabbed in Siffin. Abdullah al-Afif, when he heard Sayyida Zeinab, he says that who is the one who is giving this sermon in the voice of Ali? That it's been 20 years since Ali has passed away. You find that who is this person? They say to Abdullah al-Afif, "This is the daughter of Ali." They say, "How is this possible that the daughter of Ali is within a courtyard. The daughter of Ali is supposed to stay within her home. That's why when the Imami entered Kufa, when Sayeda Zeinab was upon the camel, he opens the curtain of the camel. He says, oh Zeinab, this is the door of Kufa. Then they go farther. He says, oh Zeinab, this is the alleyways of Kufa. Then he goes farther. He says, oh Zeinab, this is the bazaar of Kufa. Sayeda Zeinab says, oh my father, it would make sense if you told Abbas. It would make sense if you told Muhammad al-Hanafiya. But I am going to stay within the home. The Imam says, oh Zeinab, this isn't the case. A time will come when your hands will be tied behind your neck. You will be taken through this bazaar of Kufa. In front of you, there will be the cut head of your brother upon a spear. You see, what is the musibah of Sayeda Zeinab? This is that sister whom separation from her brother was the most difficult of things. You know, the narrations, they state, when Sayeda Zeinab was born, she would cry a lot. But the moment she would stop crying is when she was taken near her brother Hussein. Zahra would take her away from Hussein, she'd begin to cry. She'd take her by Hussein, she would stop crying. A point comes where Zahra, she says, oh my father Rasulullah, that this daughter of mine, the only time she stops crying is when she is taken by Hussein. Rasulullah, with tears in his eyes, he says, oh Zahra, this is Zeinab, oh Zahra, this is that Zeinab who will be with Hussein in Karbala. That this is that sister. Every moment of her life was for her brother Hussein. You know, when Sayeda Zeinab got married, there were two conditions put upon her wedding to Abdullah bin Ja'far. She says, what were those conditions? Amir al-Mu'mineen, he said, oh Abdullah, you can marry Zeinab, but there are two conditions, Abdullah. Number one, you allow Zeinab to do the ziyarah of her brother twice every single day. Then he says, oh Abdullah, a time will come when this Zeinab and my son Hussein will go towards Karbala. Oh Abdullah, at that point, give ijazah towards Zeinab. You find Zeinab, she goes towards Karbala. When she goes towards Karbala, even then her thoughts were for her brother Hussein. You know, it's stated on Shab Ashur, right? She would speak to An and Muhammad. She would look into the eyes of An and Muhammad. She would say, oh An, oh Muhammad, I know you are the grandchildren of Jafar al-Tayyar. I know you are the grandchildren of Haydar al-Karrar. I know a time will come when you'll get towards the Furat. But when you get towards the Furat, make sure you don't drink from the water unless Sakina and Ali Asghar have drunk from that water. You find that these children, An and Muhammad, they come towards the Imam. They say, oh my uncle, do we have permission to go towards the battlefield? The Imam says, oh An, oh Muhammad, go support your mother. I don't know who will take care of your mother after Karbala. The children, they reply by saying, oh our uncle, our mother Zeinab is the one who sent us at this point. You find An and Muhammad, they go towards the battlefield. They're fighting side by side. You know, when an arrow would come towards Muhammad, An would jump in front. When an arrow would come towards An, Muhammad would jump in front. Until the time it comes, these two children of Sayeda Zeinab, they're surrounded from all sides. The arrows they fire, the swords they hit them. They fall towards the ground. As they're falling towards the ground, they say, oh our uncle, come towards us. You know how the narrations, they describe the scene. They say from one side Hazrat Abbas comes, from the other side Imam al-Hussein comes. You know, one of them was in their final moments when their uncles, they came. They said, do you have any message for your mother? You find one of the children, they say that when you go back towards the tents, tell our mother that we went towards the Furat. When we got towards the Furat, we remembered our wasiyah. We didn't drink from the Furat because we remembered Sakina and Ali Asghar. You find the bodies of these children, they're brought back towards the tent. That how can a mother handle to see the cut bodies of her children? You know what Sayeda Zeinab, when she sees the body, what she does? She goes in between the body of An and Muhammad. She sits on the ground in between the two bodies. She puts one hand on the body of An. She puts one hand on the body of Muhammad. She said, Rabbana تقبل منا هذا القربان. She says, oh Lord, my Lord, accept this sacrifice. Then after standing up, she says, oh An, oh Muhammad, who else will I sacrifice for Hussein? Now I have nothing to give for my brother Hussein. You know Sayeda Zeinab. Who is Sayeda Zeinab? Sayeda Zeinab is the one whose lineage was cut after Karbala. I said on a different night that many of you are Sadat in this hall. There are many in the world to call Hussein father. But after Karbala, there was no one to call Zainab mother after Karbala. You know this Zainab, she goes from Kufa towards Sham. You know, it's stated in history that they enter Sham on the 1st of Safar. They had left Medina on the 28th of Rajab. You find 6 months and 2 days Sayeda Zeinab was in travel. That you know in Sham, when they saw that Sayeda Zeinab would walk, there would be blood upon the ground. One of the women of Sham, they go towards Fidda. They say, oh Fidda, who is this lady? That wherever she walks, there is a trail of blood upon the ground. Fidda says, this is the sister of Hussein. Her shoes have become broken at this point. You find the wounds upon the feet of Zainab. Zainab, she goes. But one of the most difficult moments, final lines, is when she returns towards Medina. When she returns towards Medina, she goes to the grave of her grandfather Rasulullah. She puts her hand up on the door. She says, oh my grandfather, Hussein has been killed. Hussein was thirsty. Ali Akbar was killed. She tells the entire musibah. Then she says, oh Nana, if there weren't a crowd of non-mahram over here, I would remove the chadar from my arms. I would show you what bruises and marks. Ala lanatullah ala al-qawm al-zalimin. We ask through the wasila of Sayeda Zeinab that wherever the followers of Ahlul Bayt are in difficulty, give help towards them. You know, a number of people have asked me that our close ones, they're sick, they're ailing. Through the right of Sayeda Zeinab, give them shafa. That wherever the followers of Ahlul Bayt are facing any trials, whether material, whether spiritual, whether physical, help them. We pray for those Zaireen who are returning towards their home. We pray for all of those who are affected by that earthquake in Iraq. There are many poor individuals who didn't have anything else with them that were impacted. We pray for those who are serving the cause of Islam. We pray for the strength to walk in the footsteps of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. For the ziyarah of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, for the intercession of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, and our every dua ends with this dua. Through the right of the aunt of the Imam Sayeda Zeinab, we pray for the hastening of the reappearance of the master of our time, Matam Hussein.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. आ गई बेंते अली बेरिदा हाथ बंधे पर बाजारों में आ गई बेंते अली बेरिदा हाथ बंधे पर बाजारों में जिसने सूरज न कभी देखा था रो रही है वो गुनाहगारों में
آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں کون جانے کہ یہ ہے کون رسن پہنے ہوئے بیردارو تیغ سجاد کے پیچھے چھپ کے سسکیاں ڈوبی ہے جس بھی کی ہائے زنجیروں کی جھنکاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں ہائے زہرا تیری قسمت نہ ملا حق تجھ کو ایسی تعظیم تیری کی ہے مسلمانوں نے تیرا حق مانگنے آئی زینب ایک مینوش کے درباروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں کہاں زینب اور کہاں شام کے لوگوں کا ہجوم سر برنا اونچی آواز میں خطبے پڑھنا قتل مرسل کا حوالہ دے کے چادر مانگنا بدکاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں جس طرح بالی سکینہ رہے بابا کے بغیر سو گئی چین سے تنہائی میں روتے روتے ہچکیاں ڈب گئی معصومہ کی ہائے زندانوں کی دیواروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں جس جگہ مجلس شبیر ہو برپا اختر چھوڑ کر دکھیا وہاں روتی ہے زہرا کے بال کھولے ہوئے سر پیٹتی ہے اپنے پیاروں کے عزاداروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں جس نے سورج نہ کبھی دیکھا تھا رو رہی ہے وہ گنہگاروں میں آ گئی بنت علی بیردہ ہاتھ بندھے پر بازاروں میں کیا حسین
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.